apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuning in to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man, Kel. Packed house as always. Always starting with my little sis first, ladies first. Porsche, what's going on, miss?
Not a whole lot, Kel. So glad to be here. I think I missed a couple weeks, and I'm just so glad to see everybody. So, hi.
No doubt. Vern from ATL, what's going on, good brother?
What's going on, good people? Glad to be here. Been a week or so. I'm going to jump in and do what I do.
No doubt. Rel, Philadelphia, a lot of sneakers. What's going on, good brother?
What's good, man? Happy to be here as usual. Appreciate y'all.
No doubt. My brother out of NO, Mix. What's going on, good brother?
What's up, y'all? Good to be back. You know, glad to be back in the mix and finally get to meet Porsche. That's really
Yeah.
All right. And we just add my brother to the mix. Celine, what's good, baby?
Peace.
Yo, let me explain.
What's up,
y'all
bro?
see the excitement in my voice, man. This is my guy right here. Like this right here. Yo, I could go on and on for about this guy. I was just talking about you a little bit, and I was just saying how, like, yo, you are the ultimate plug. I was like, yo, I'm nice on Twitter, but I'm not in these DC streets like that. Called you up in 5 days, boom, partnership with the Howard, partnership over here, doing this over here. You know what I mean? So this is the plug. I appreciate you, bro. I love you, bro. Tell me what's going on with you, man.
Oh man, I love you too, Kel. You already know what it is, man. Peace to everybody in the room. And
What's going on, bro?
Apartment 5B, man. I be seeing y'all doing y'all thing, man. Y'all be stirring Twitter street real talk. So, but as far as what I'm up to, I actually have moved from DC. I'm now in Brooklyn, New York.
All right.
Yeah, so actually growing my podcast, which is Chopping It Up with the Conduit, that is out on all DSPs right now, and podcasts on Vivo, and then also doing some artist management and things of that nature. So just kind of dipping my feet into a little bit of things over here now since I'm trying to settle in.
All right, no doubt, bro. Like I told you on the phone the other day, this dude has one of the dopest hip-hop podcasts, and he just started it like 5 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
What is your name on Twitter?
This is Baba LP _7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't follow on anything, but talk about Chopping Up with the Conduit for a second. Just for a little, give him some of the guests. I already talked about Stove Guy, because I feel about Stove Guy. So just talk about some of the guests.
Well, as for Chopping It Up with the Conduit, that was literally started during the pandemic. Well, we are still in the pandemic, but you know, during the beginning of it, because I started in live entertainment. That's the arena that I come from, and basically my last show was March 13th, 2020 with KRS-One and DJ Kid Capri. So with that being said, just going into to this COVID thing and testing new waters, kind of didn't know what was going on, but started kind of getting the idea because D-Nice was the catalyst. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And to watch him bring people together, you know, with music, and then started seeing other people doing certain interviews, I started getting DMs like, yo, what you about to do? Like, no, I'm not about to do anything. I'm chilling. I'm enjoying watching everybody else. But it was more so like, no, you always created experience when you brought them to the live experience. Why don't you give them something virtual? So the first person I reached out to was my brother John Forte, and he had no problem being down. And from there on out, the first season was 20 episodes, and you know, we had everybody from Rock Marciano to J Period to Pete Rock, of course, Bumpy Knuckles,
Damn.
a couple of the new young MCs that are out in the game, from Crime Apple to UFO Feeve.
Yeah,
the
Shay
artist,
Noir, right?
yeah, Shay Noir is actually on the second
Dope.
season now. She's out now. We already did 38 Special. Premium
Dang.
Pete from the Combat Jack show and the Premium Pete show. We recently just did Fonte and
Yo, that's my dude.
Bodega
Killing the
Bams.
Yeah, I
So,
told you he killed the game already. That's why I'm so proud of this dude. Like, he came in,
Killing the game.
you know, came in and 6 months ago, this dude ain't have a podcast. This dude got better guests than most people. And then, you know, so, you know, just again, man, I just salute you and, you know, always give you your flowers whenever we link up, brother. Because
Man, yo,
the way you
thank
looked
you,
out for
Kill.
me, you didn't have to. And you did it with no problem, with no issue. And again, the dot connector, the plug, just a great guy. So just thank you for making time for us, bro. I appreciate you.
Man, you already know what it is, Kill. And then if y'all can see it, man, what's visible on the chest, you know what I'm saying? I'm a 5%er and I'm about paying it forward, you know what I mean? So if my brother reached out, or if there's some way I can, pay it forward, that's what we're supposed to do. We show our equality to each other.
Right.
Is what I want for myself is what I want for my brother, or I want for my sister. You feel what I'm saying? So when Kill reached out, I'm like, man, hold up. Homie got 10,000 plus followers. He had a radio show. He already know what it is, and he's planted in the community. So why not? He's a vehicle. He's a vessel. And that's, led to many other things,
Right.
even just a great brotherhood.
Right. And I mean, again, I give flowers. This is the dude who connected the dots for the RJ Payne situation. You know what I mean? Like when Payne came through to Howard, this dude made sure me and Payne connected before we left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all that to just say, man, I love you, bro. I appreciate you. Just giving flowers. Everybody watching, please chop it up with the conduit. We're gonna talk more about that later, but let's get into this joint. Porsche, this is your topic today. You hit me with this for the clubhouse, and I was like, I don't know what's this. We may have to Brody this one for the regular show. So
Yeah.
talk about how you came up with this joint.
Basically, it's always rooted in Puffy swallowers and slander and all of that kind of stuff. So, there was a lot of conversation in and around Puff. This was before he put out that statement that was hypocritical and which one does he want to be, the pot or the kettle. It was prior to this, but it was still just buzzing about Puff and how he is in terms of, bad boy and that kind of thing. And it got me kind of thinking, like, where did these CEOs and owners of these labels go wrong? Like, where did they sort of lose touch with either the label, their artists, their A&Rs? Where did it go sideways? And was it their kind of, not their fault, but was it because of the lack of direction that we are now seeing labels are pretty much obsolete now? So what happened? That was my sort of what I envisioned for this topic when I pitched it to Kill.
Yeah, very dope topic. So we're going to be looking at a couple of labels. We're going to be looking at when we individually stopped checking for them, and then kind of talk about what we think went wrong and who did what or what happened like that. And then like Porsche said, I mean, right now, I'm 47, so I came up in an era where each artist was almost ingrained to a label. Where if you said Eli Soul, you said Tommy Boy. If you said Run DMC, you knew Profile. Like, it literally was like they go together. It's like you see a dude, oh, that's dude Shorty. They always together. Whereas like Porsche said, we don't even have labels like that.
Nope.
So where did that fall apart and all those things at? Porsche, why don't you set us off just real quick? Why do you think? Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's dive into the first one, Bad Boy. Okay. So tell me this: when did you stop checking for Bad Boy? And what I did, I tried to do a quick list. The first album that was released from Bad Boy, Big's Ready to Die in '94. The last one that was released from Bad Boy, I had no idea. Machine Gun Kelly, called Tickets to My Downfall, which was like 2020. I didn't even know Bad Boy still putting out records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, in between, we know Bad Boy's roster: Big, Craig Mack, Black Rob, G Dep, Total, Mace, Loom, Shine. We know all the jokes. After you get off a Puffy label, you either change your religion or you go to jail. You know, like
or you dead.
You know, you dead. You know, so you know, you got a whole slew of things like that. So for Porsche, when did you stop checking for Bad Boy Records? Like, what was the last album that you can remember copping? Like,
all I know is that I was already over the whole Bad Boy thing when Shine was kind of coming into the mix. So I want to say it was, I don't even know what year that would have been.
It's probably like around almost 2000s, like 99,
almost 2000. So I want to say like the last one I remember kind of like even listening to was Mace's album, and I don't know where that sort of falls. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I wasn't checking anything that came out after Mace was sort of like, you know, it was kind of big, had already passed, I believe, and I just wasn't feeling it. Like I felt like Bad Boy was sort of deflated after that.
Okay. All right. Celine, what about you? When did you stop checking? Or maybe you didn't. You know, there may be some labels on here, like I said. You know?
Well, I mean, for me, with Bad Boy, I think the last jump off for me was Black Rob.
Okay.
And Life Story.
Right.
That was roughly around what?
Bringing up Black Rob names, Prayers to Black Rob.
Yeah,
you know
Prayers
up.
You know, seeing that video was just heartbreaking. You know, and then coming out the same day X died, it was like, damn, y'all hitting us with the 2-piece tonight. You know what I mean? So definitely prayers for Black Rob. I'm sorry, Celine, what were you saying?
It's no good. No, all good. Yeah, that was his last album, like roughly about 99, 2000, before he jumped off and went to Duck Down and all of that. So yeah, he was like the last of the remnants of Bad Boy for me.
All right. What about you, Mix?
I'm gonna say probably the Craig Mack. I was already selective with Bad Boy stuff. I wasn't a super Bad Boy diehard.
Yep.
And it was kind of weird because I had a friend of mine, Derek D. Angeletti, who was tied into it. But I was more a fan of him, Big, and Craig Mack. I think the breaking point for me was probably the band and the MTV show.
Yeah.
Because it was just like all over the place, you know. It just wasn't flowing. It just made me seem like they were in it for the money. Like there was no artistry involved. Like they were just just going through the motions. It seems like Diddy was only dealing with people he could exploit, as opposed to people, you know, who had true integrity.
Right. That's a good point. Rel, what about you?
I think I like the Black Rob's album. But I liked his album, but I really wasn't checking for Bad Boy like that. Like when the Locks left, it was like, you know, Big had passed, Locks left, Mace retired. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I wasn't really checking for him like that. I Shine's first album, I did like him, but as far as checking for the label, I has been stopped checking for him. You know what I'm saying? Like if something comes out that's cool, I listen to it, but it wasn't like, yo, something coming out from Bad Boy. Nah, I wasn't. I kind of just was getting annoyed with Puff a little bit, and some like the Shine shooting thing that happened in the club. I kind of was through with Puff after that. You know what I'm saying? So I just, I really wasn't checking for him. If something came out that was cool, I would listen, but.
Yeah,
I wasn't checking for him like that.
Right. All right. What about you, Vaughn?
Yeah, Craig Mack and Big was my connect to Bad Boy, and then the only the Bad Boy for Life. The reason why I checked for that because I went to school with Curry, but but I wasn't a really big Bad Boy, and it became a pop label to me, kind of like Puffy all up in the videos dancing and Jiggy and all that, so I was cool on Bad Boy. Yeah.
All right. And for me, I probably stopped checking after Big died, man. And again, when I define, checking is like getting hyped for something. Because, we'll have these shows and they'll be like, yo, if KRS drops an album, I'll listen. Nah, there's a difference between I'm a listen and I'm hyped. You know what I mean? Like, so probably after Big died. Like that was probably it. I mean, I remember copping No Way Out just because I knew Big was, kind of on it with Victory, and kind of like Brell said, I can remember copping Mario Winans joint, and that was like 2003, the Hurt No More joint. But I think I always kept the ear out for Total because I loved their second album that most people didn't like. The Carl Thomas. I could almost mess with the R&B side of it.
Yeah.
True. You're right.
The hip hop side.
I forgot about Carl Thomas.
Because I mean, some of their artists, I forgot New Edition was on.
That was a bad look.
Cassie's debut album, Danity Kane, Day 26. Here's the funny thing that I'm gonna say, because y'all know me, I say some wild shit sometimes. Yo, that Diddy Dirty Money album wasn't that bad. I actually liked it. I know I'm the only person on the
I didn't listen to it.
The one that he did with the two
shorties that did with
I like that Hello Good Morning, talking about that.
Yeah.
I like that song.
That album, if you could erase Puff's rhymes, that album ain't bad, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
I never heard the whole album.
I never heard either.
It actually is not that bad. But so here's the thing. Somebody had put on Twitter the other day about Puff, because we talk about Puff a lot. But and I sometimes feel like Puff, I don't know if y'all ever heard the joke that the devil is sitting outside the church. You come outside, you ask the devil, like, yo, man, why you crying? He's like, man, they in there blaming me for everything. Like, I don't do everything to everybody, And sometimes I feel like that could be Puff. We throw Puff, myself included, under the bus for everything. You know what I mean? And I'm just wondering, because somebody put on Twitter, they was like, yo, look at Black Rob, that's fucked up. Look at what Puffy did. And somebody responded, yeah, but then Black Rob went the duck down. Are y'all mad at Drew High for that? Like, are y'all going to be, if he went to another label, y'all going to be mad at that? So, I guess the question I'm asking, like Vern, you said Puff is up in the videos dancing, and I think Rel, you said, or Mick said, exploiting talent. I'm not defending Puff, because that's the last person I'm gonna defend, but that's the sad. I mean, isn't that the record industry game though?
It
to
is.
Exploit people,
Pretty much.
Like
behavior.
It is.
But it's like every artist he's ever had.
I think it's,
what? It's not that for me. It's for me. The reason why I throw Puff under the bus for absolutely everything, and I do it gladly, is because I don't know anybody from any other label, like Duck Down, for example, that's flaunting their money and exploiting their artists to this day as much as Puffy. Like, how can you fix yourself to tell Mace, I'm going to pay you this, and then like whatever he offered Mace for his masters, like to buy back his masters, like how are you sitting where you're sitting and your artists are telling you that they're coming to you directly and they're telling you like you can help me and you're not, like it's just, where does that end? Where does that like snake-like behavior of the industry end? Or is that just weaved into just the person that you are for the rest of your life? Like you're just always ever gonna do that?
Now here's the thing, y'all. I'm gonna come to you, Salim. I'm just letting y'all know I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just playing devil's advocate. So I don't want y'all to be like, damn, Kill. I don't want nobody watching be like, Kill on Puff's side. I'm just playing devil's advocate. But what were you gonna say, Salim?
Well, I'm just saying most of the people know about Puff. What's the common saying? He's a paper gangster, meaning he's about his money.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And there's a reason why it's called the music business. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between the two. You can do your music, but you gotta know your business as well. You can't blame everything. I mean, I'm not saying that you can blame everything on Puff, but you can't at the same time, because some of these people, were grown men. They had managers and they had other handlers as well, in place in order to make sure certain things would, go how it's supposed to go. So you got to look at it like, okay, this man gave them at least an opportunity to show their art, to showcase what we were allowed to take part of, which what we enjoy now. You know what I'm saying? But as far as tying him to like everything that that happened to all these artists, I kind of think it's wrong.
Yeah, and you know, if you still getting jerked, it's like Kill, how you say about everybody that's on Unsung. Like, dog, it's 2020. You know, how you walk in? Well, we just didn't read the contract. Well, that's on you, bro.
Yeah, I mean 20 years
folks
later, if you still crying about that, B, come on.
And I mean, I think the thing is this, is that, you know, Slim, I agree with you 100%. That's what I was gonna say. The problem is that this is the music business, and the problem is that, and here's the problem, that most of these MCs who get into this game are getting into it crazy young. Like, I mean, Tip had to be what, 15, 16 when they got signed the job. So Naomi's 15. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine Naomi signing a record deal. You know what I mean? Right now, you know. And the thing is that I just think that some of the blame, I feel like it's like if we're in a relationship, like most people, if Portia, me and you are dating and we break up, I'm gonna throw you under the bus. You may throw me under the bus. That's just how most people do. I've never done any marriage counseling session where people come and say, Kill, I am the problem. This is what I did. This is what I did. It's always what he did, what she did, pointing the finger at the other person. And I just think that there does have to be some accountability. Is it wrong? Because I think maybe we expect, because this is a black man, you know, why would, and the music industry is usually the white man's game. So it's like, we get the white man. It's almost, if we look at it like slavery, yo, I get the white master beating the shit out of us, but damn, my nigga, now you in the house and you beating the shit out of us too? Like, aren't you supposed to be trying to like make it better for us? And I mean, that's a hope, you know, but I don't know if we could tie to that. And I think at the end of the day, you know, like for instance, Tip, the first time I heard about the record company being shady is Tip, 91. I'm a junior in high school. Record company people are shady. Nobody ever talked shit about the president of Jive. Maybe because nobody know who the president of Jive is. But he told us, Tip told us in 1991, this record labels are shady. You know what I mean? And we don't throw Jive under the bus. We don't throw any of these white people. You know, the only people I ever hear talk about Leah Cohen are the artists. I've yet to hear anybody on Twitter, any hip hop fan ever say anything bad about Leah, any bad about any of these white executives. But we throw Puff under the bus. And I'm not saying Puff doesn't deserve to be thrown, but I'm just saying, if we throwing niggas, let's throw all of them. Like Nino Brown said, if I'm going down, we all going down. So, but hold on, Portia, I'm gonna get to you. I know you got something.
I just wanted you to know I had something to say on that.
I think one thing about Puff though that make it a little worse is he come out with these statements that's so like contradictory. Like okay, you don't see Leo coming out like, let's empower these people. Like, he be saying some stuff, and I'm like, but you not doing that. Like, you saying it sound good in this climate and with everything that's going on, but you ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I think, I said so. Yeah. Right. So I think he put himself out. He made himself be the one that we attack, because he out here being a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then another thing about that, like, you know how like it's how many of us on here? 6 of us on here, right? If all 5 of us say Kill is an alcoholic, is it Kill or is it all 5 of us? You know what I'm saying? Like, they on the label is fucked up. Like, how is that? How, like, come on. So, and then like the record label company, record industry it exploits young black youth that y'all saying, look at this contract and all that. These dudes is starving, you know what I'm saying? And some of them ain't even finished high school, you know what I'm saying? So they're putting themselves behind the 8 ball at the beginning, you know what I'm saying? And then once you there, you know what I'm saying, it's playing catch up for the rest of your career, you know what I'm saying? So I think I agree with what y'all saying, but I think it goes both ways. Like, we can't like blame him for everything, you know what I'm saying? But he takes some blame in it too. And when he come out and make these statements, it kind of just make me sick to my stomach a little bit, because I know he ain't living that. He ain't living it. It sounds fucking good to say it, you know what I'm saying, in this climate online and all that. But you got, come on, man. Look at everybody on the label, dog. Like, come on, man. Like, you a hypocrite with that, though. If he didn't say nothing, it'd be cool. Like, but here's the wild part, bro.
It wouldn't, because niggas been throwing Puff under the bus long before Twitter was invented. So
But,
just keep it a buck.
he's
No.
always out there. Like that's what I'm saying.
No, but
Out
what
there,
I'm
he's
saying,
in your face. So
but
it's
what
like
I'm saying
it's
is,
so
there's a
easy to.
difference. But there's a difference between being in your face and making these statements. I agree with you wholeheartedly about the statements, but it's also like we've been throwing Puff under the bus way before Twitter. You know what I mean? I can remember going all the way back to hearing things about Big's royalties not being right. Like I started hearing hoopla about Puff after Big died and Big's estate not being right. So that's 1997. There ain't no social media. There's no statements, no nothing. So I'm just saying that I agree with you.
These things are true though. Like it's not like we making this shit up. These are things
No. I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying that these statements, I agree that the statements, it makes it even worse. That's my belief. It makes it even worse. But we were saying this shit 10 years before Puff was saying anything about these statements. Something that Salim said that made a great point. If Trey Lee is my lawyer and Trey Lee says sign this deal with Puff and I sign the deal with Puff, shouldn't I be mad at Trey and not Puff? Because he's my middleman, right? He's my lawyer. He's who's getting paid to make sure. Trey is the one who speaks the lawyer language, because that's why I tell folks, we speaking a whole nother language. So I paid Trey. So I paid somebody to make sure that I'm protected. And if I still sign the deal, we're not blaming any of these managers. We're blaming Puff. Whereas it's Puff's job. It's almost like your lawyer as a father. My job is to protect Naomi from the predators that are out there in the world. That's my job as her father. You see what I'm saying? Did I not do my job then? If she gets to the predators? Now I know it's not as cut and dry, because Trey has talked about, I told this artist to go this way, and the artist said, nope, I'm gonna go that way and sign the deal anyway. Well, then that's on that artist. So again, I'm not saying Puffy owns a percentage of the blame. Let me never let anybody think I'm saying let this nigga skate. But I just don't think he owns 100%. If the if the lawyer told you don't sign that deal, it's a bad deal, and the artist still signs it, to me, that artist now gets more of the blame than Puff actually gets, because your lawyer told you don't do it. The same way as a parent, you could be like, don't date that nigga. I don't care that I'm gonna do. That's on you then. That's on you. I can't blame that nigga who did you wrong, because I told you the nigga was gonna do you wrong. You own some blameness too. You baby girl, and I love you, but you gotta take some of this blame on too. So that's all I'm saying, is that Puff is to blame. I just don't know if he's all the way. He has to get it all, because like Salim said, if we dealing with 10 different artists, that's 10 different managers that fucked up then, right? If you sign a fucked up record deal and you got a manager, whose fault is that?
Okay, but here's the thing. It's not just about contracts. And I said the same thing to Easy when we were going back and forth on Twitter. Easy Money. It's not, it goes so far beyond the contracts with some labels and some people in positions. So for me, I just think that with Puff, it isn't just about the contract. I completely agree with Salim. Puff is also trying to get the bag, and I don't knock him for that. I actually think Puff is one of my favorite businessmen in hip hop for his business acumen. He's brilliant, but at what point does your greed not stop? At some point, you have to say, okay, you know what? I got my bag. Now let me not dangle these masters in front of Mace in 2021 or 2020 and cause this scene. It's 2020, dude. It's how many years ago is it? And now you're taunting him with his masters. Puff, what more do you want, man? Come on. Mace's 250,000 is going to make or break you at this point. Come on, man. That's where Go ahead, Salim.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying that he isn't, that Puff hasn't, not to say that he hasn't rectified these situations with these artists as well, or with their certain estates. For instance, if he didn't repair these relationships with these certain artists, I don't think any of these artists would have went on the Bad Boy 25-year reunion tour. If he was such a bad businessman, you understand what I'm saying?
I think money talks.
He handled his stuff. Yeah.
Being broke will get you to do a lot of stuff.
But you got to understand that these people have already grown to be businessmen of their own. Like Jada and them don't necessarily have to get on tour. They got Juices for Life sitting here in the Yonkers and in Brooklyn and so on and so forth. I'm just saying that with Puff, he rectified certain situations with them. Be it that, okay, he might have got threatened about having a refrigerator thrown on his head off the side of a building, but he rectified the situation. As for with Craig Mack, I don't know. As for with the Big Estate, that's all well and good because Mrs. Wallace is the one that's in control of that.
Yes.
You know, as for Mace, I don't know about homie, because 1 minute, you know, you're playing basketball, then you know you're a rapper, and then next thing you know, you're going to be a pastor. The next thing you know, you're back in G Unit and you're talking about killing people, and the next thing you know, you're going back to the pulpit. I don't know which one it is, and then you're coming back with some Welcome Back Carter sample because you back dancing with Puff. It's like back and forth with those two. I think it's something deeper than the money, but the two won't speak on it.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's not my business. You feel what I'm saying? That's for them two to handle. And as grown men, whatever, you know, that has happened between them. As far as the money situation, I mean, we're talking 20 plus years after the fact. Okay, if it's said that he's still dangling his masters, then yeah, I agree that, you know, Puff should go ahead and release it and give it back to Mace. But there's something with this guy keep going back and forth, jumping, you know what I'm saying? There's something on his side as well. You feel what I'm saying? So it can't always be on Puff's side, as that's what I'm saying, even though that's how it always looks out to be, just because of a certain situation all these artists are in now or have been. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Grell, give me 1 second. Sorry. I just want to say the other thing about the whole having a lawyer, like if Trey is your lawyer and he's telling you his job is actually to be an advisor, to be like a counselor. So he's supposed to actually break down those lawyer terms and put it down in layman's terms. Now, he can give you his recommendation, but at the end of the day, your lawyer isn't your protector, and that's not what you pay them for. So I think like lawyers are also released from their kind of blame in a way. They just have to be able to advise you. Like, and if a lot of lawyers don't even advise, they're just like, look, this is what it's saying. Make with that what you will. Let me know what you want to do. I feel like Trey, as your friend, would be like, Kill, look, this is what it's saying. And as your friend, as your brother, I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Or do it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's different ways because again, for me, the lawyer, I'm paying you to make sure this deal goes through. Not just hip hop. We can talk about real estate law. Like I'm trusting this guy Vern with mortgages. You need somebody to make sure your house is good. You know, your home inspector. You know, it's up to, if the home inspector says the house is good, then what do we do, Vern? We buy the house. If the house inspector says it's not good and you need to get these 5 things taken care of before you buy the house, I know people who have literally, the house inspector has said don't buy it, and they was like, no, it's too good of a deal, we can fix that, and they bought it. So whose fault is that? Do we blame the owners for selling you a bad house? Do we blame the home inspector said, I told you not to buy it?
But the lawyer doesn't have the same responsibility as the inspector. Those are two different responsibilities. Again,
well, I think it's different lawyers, because I've had lawyers talk to me about contracts and they're like, Kill, that's not a good contract. I wouldn't sign that.
Right.
You know, so again, that may be different. I don't know how every lawyer gets down, but I've had a lawyer say to me, you know, my boss at the radio station, 889, Ray, was all in law school. So like he would look over my contracts, Roots' contracts, and maybe you're right. Maybe because we were friends, he would say that. So different things, I don't know. But I'm just saying we can't blame Puff for everything. Rel, let's go to you, and then I want to get on to the next label. So, because this will become a 4-hour Puff show. Last time we did that, there was 7 days of Puff swallowing. So I'm not doing that.
I got 2 things. One is a question, like, and because I don't know, but what?
Well, can I say one thing before you ask the question?
Yeah.
Of course, you asked the question about money. I'll give you a great example. T came in here the other day, and I got sneaker boxes up to the ceiling, and she was like, "When is enough enough?" And I said, "Never. It's never enough. There's always going to be a new pair of ones It's shit. I just got these shits in the mail today. These copper joints, crazy, just brand new, just copper.
Damn.
Look at Rel behind you. Look at Rel. Never. Look at these records. Never. I'm on. Tip said this in 1993 in a magazine. He said, "I'm on a never-ending quest for records."
But here's
Never.
the thing: you
So,
and
just
Rel
when you
aren't-
talk about
you
money,
and Rel aren't
the only
ruining
thing-
lives getting sneakers. That's all I'm gonna say.
No.
Because-
I'm just But to answer your question about when is enough with money, these millionaires want to become multimillionaires.
Yes,
And
that's
then
true.
they want to become billionaires.
That's
and then
true.
they want to become multi-billionaires. So
Sure.
but trust me, between Jay and all these Steve Stouts and Jay and Puffy and all, they in a race to see who got at that Forbes list at the end of the year. Them numbers mean something. When they get together at that Jay-Z Rockefeller brunch, if you think they ain't like, yeah, nigga, you number 5, nigga, you better
Yeah,
step your
that's
game
true.
up.
Oh, yeah.
So just to say that
True. Fact.
there's never enough money. That's never gonna happen. You're never gonna be the millionaire who's like, you know what? I'm good at 5. No, because that millionaire who's at 5 is trying to get 10. That millionaire at 10 is trying to get 20. I'm sorry, bro. What was your question?
Like, what type of lawyers are these young broke dudes from the projects having when they sign these contracts? Like, is that even a thing? This is a question because I don't know. Because I know
I would assume you don't have a lawyer.
Yes,
So just-
and that's
Most of the
true.
time it's
I
provided
had
by
this
the label.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had
and
this-
then if it's provided by the label,
So this
then you
provided,
already
yeah.
conflict of interest.
So if it's provided by the label, then you already know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? They not going to tell you not to sign. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then
No.
another thing, the Mace thing. I agree with what Celine was saying about Mace, but I also don't think it's fair to bring up like his career back and forth, and that don't have nothing to do with him and Puff to me. You know what I'm saying? Because when Big died, who was his most successful artist? It was Mace.
It was
You know what I'm
Puff.
saying?
Well, yeah, Puff was bigger than Mace.
It was Puff, and that's
That's
the
why he
problem.
put out the No Way
That-
Out.
well,
And people forget that's part of the problem, that Puff wanted to be an artist first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Conflict of
so
interest.
Puff was bigger than Mace, but Mace was big. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Mace made that man. Mace made that man money. Mace is like Celine. He's weird. Like I don't. But I agree with what Porsche was saying. Like it's 2021, and you dangling his masters in front. I'm like, yeah, give me that. That is wild, corny. Like it gotta be. Celine was. It gotta be something deeper.
But
because
I
that don't
think
even
that's the
make
thing
fucking sense.
But I think that's the thing, that it like Salim said, it's something between those two. There's somebody, I think most dudes have it. You live long enough, you got a homeboy who's your homeboy, but y'all got some issues. You know,
Because if
so
I'm Mace and I see those statements, if I'm Mace and what we going through, and I see him make them statements, I'm losing my mind. Like, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, like I said, if we're real, most people have somebody who has maybe done you wrong, maybe you forgave them, and that's why I agree with Salim. There's something there between those two. You know what I mean? So maybe me and Vern started Apartment 5B, and Vern did something to me, and now I send little shots his way, and Vern ain't doing good. Kill, why don't you do for Vern? You know, da. I ain't doing for Vern. You know what I mean?
Every time Puffy puts out a statement like this is when Mace bubbles up and says something, because the first time he said it, Puff, I think, released a statement about how black people shouldn't be jerking, you know, like their brothers and all that. And Mace was like, what are you talking about? That's what you've been doing to me my whole life. And then the whole thing came out and it was all numbers and all of that.
Like, who was the Jay
again,
jerking niggas skit about? Who was Jay jerking niggas on the Locks album?
And here's the thing at the end of the day. And this is a bigger conversation. We're gonna have to do another show on this topic, because it's literally the business. Because guess what? You think State Property ain't sitting around talking shit about Jay-Z?
Right.
You think Cam ain't talking shit about Jay-Z?
Right.
I was just
Oh, well,
watching
Cam
those.
is actually-
Cam
on Drink Champs.
said on Drink Champs is good, but
Yeah, they
you know,
good.
like and what song was that? Oh, it was that Drake song. Support, you probably never heard it. Where Jay is like, "Yo, I made people millions. Cam made millions. Beans made millions. You know, Just made millions. Ye made millions. So this is just the business that everybody is gonna say, I got jerked. You know, I think we kind of talked about this during the Wu-Tang show. Is it RZA's job to explain to all 8 of these dudes how the record industry works? Maybe because somebody will say, well, these were your friends, it is your job. Somebody says, hey, you know what? You're a grown-ass man. You need to, you know, find yourself. What was the first book I talked about when we did the book list show? All You Need to Know About the Record Industry by Donald S. Passman. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So again, everybody says, I remember Ghost and RZA had beef. And I think Ghost is like married to RZA's sister. Or, you know, that's her baby father or something. So everybody is always going to throw the Black Label exec under the bus. My only challenge is, can we start throwing some of these white motherfuckers under the bus too?
Always.
That's my only challenge, because I never hear them do that.
Of the issue.
I've never heard a rapper. Chuck D talks about Lear. It's so bad I call him Liar Cohen because of what Chuck says. But the majority of these people are always just throwing the black folk under the bus. And I'm just like, you know, there are other things after that. And then from an interview I did with Chucky Thompson that was really informative, and I asked him, I said, bruh, yo, did Puff blackball the Hitman? Because y'all was the biggest thing on the planet, and then y'all all just disappeared. And again, when you're in this industry, Porsche, like I was telling you before, you got to play a game.
Yep.
So could Chucky come out and say he blackballed us? No, he can't say that, because maybe he still wants to get money. That's a bridge. You know, when you don't want to burn the J bridge and you don't want to burn the Puff bridge. If there are two bridges you don't want to burn, those are the 2 bridges you don't want to burn. And we could just look at Damon and Kareem, because where they at? You know, so, you know, you can't say it. But one thing that he did say about Puff that I could believe was, he was like, when I tried to run my own label, I didn't know how much energy and effort had to go into it. You know what I mean? It's different when Puff is like, yo, we got studio session, we got Faith in this room, Mary in that room, Big in that room, come in and get busy. And then you realize when you got to do that shit yourself, it don't move as smoothly and move as fast and everything like that. But
Killer Mike found that out when he was throwing shots at Big Boy, and because they had beef. And then when he's like, oh, it's different when you sitting in the big chair. Yeah, so he squashed it. So
and I think it's one of those things. Now, I'll give the analogy of being a parent. Me and my dad have a very tumultuous, whatever the damn word is, relationship. And there are things that I didn't understand that he did until I had Naomi.
Yes,
like there was a time in the car when something he did that just, I hated my dad for this. And Naomi did something similar to it, and it was an aha moment. So a lot of times you think somebody is doing you wrong. And again, this is, please, nobody think I'm taking any of this blame off of Puff, because I'm not. You know what I mean? I would love, my dream, seriously, one of my dreams, my pipe dreams, is to get with a basketball player, somebody who's just got endless bank, and be like, look, dog, let's start a label and let's change this shit. Let's tear this shit down and let's rebuild it the right way. Let's let the artists get money. You know what I mean? Like, let's rebuild this whole thing. And it's gonna have to be somebody who just got so much money. You know, ball players are just, you know, blow $500K in a strip club on a Saturday. So I'm like, yo, like, let's rebuild this whole system, because that's what we got to do. This whole record label system is just built on the artist getting jerked. And it's kind of like what I said with Vern, through the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and I even give you some of the 90s. But once the internet came, bro, if you get jerked, that's on you. You know what I mean? And that may be a tough pill to swallow for some folks.
It is what it is, bro.
Yo, I want to get into the script game. I don't know nothing about it. I've got to do my due diligence to learn about it. And if I don't, in 2020, if y'all hear about Kill get mad because such and such jerked him, I want all y'all niggas to be like, Kill, you nigga, you of all people, like, you know you got to do your due diligence. You know, and again, it's bad. Rel, like you said, who can these 15-year-old kids afford? Nobody. You know, when the New Edition movie came out and everybody was talking shit on Twitter, why you ain't read your contract? I'm on Twitter like, motherfucker, y'all don't read y'all damn iOS updates on your iPhone. That shit could be saying we gonna spy on you 24/7. You just hit click and hit enter and call it a day. So how dare you yell at these kids for not knowing to read the contract, and you don't read the damn iPhone contract. So next up, we got Loud Records. First album that came out, I didn't even know Twista was on Loud. This is why we gotta do the research. I didn't even notice Tongue Twister in 1992. They didn't have a discography of like when their last release was, but I mean Loud Records. We're talking Wu-Tang's 36, Wu-Tang Forever, Mob's The Infamous, Hell on Earth, Ray's Cuban Links, Alcoholics, 21 and Over, Cellar Dwellers, Big Pun, The Soul in the Hole soundtrack. I mean, maybe possibly the dopest hip hop label of the 90s. You know what I mean? Porsche, when did you stop checking for Loud, or where do you think, like, did they go wrong, or was Loud one of those labels that just kind of got just?
I think exactly that. I was reading up on Loud, and I'm not like I realized I always ever checked for the albums dropping off of Loud, and I don't. And coincidentally, they all happen to be on Loud Records. So even Twista's album, which he's on Loud. So for me, I never really stopped checking for them. And I think Loud actually didn't do anything wrong. I don't think maybe I mean, they're a record label. Come on now. I'm not saying
so,
that
nothing in the public's eye.
Yeah, nothing in the public's eye that I would have caught wind of. I just think they were sort of like they just got in the crossfire of things changing and record labels sort of dying out, that they just sort of died out. I never really stopped checking for any albums that came out of Loud. I really liked all of them. The ones that you mentioned.
I forgot to ask this about Bad Boy. I'm sorry. So when we go back around, what was your favorite Bad Boy release?
Mine?
Yeah.
Biggs. Yeah.
All right. I mean, Ready to Die or Life?
Yes. Oh no, Ready to Die. Sorry.
All right. And then, what's your favorite Loud release?
Oh, Only Built for Cuban Links.
Right. Go pick. Mix, what's going on with you? What was your feelings on Loud? Do you feel like Loud just kind of came into the whole, once things started streaming and labels kind of disappeared, that's what happened with Loud?
I think so. I think what happened with Loud was the numbers game really killed them. The fact that their owner and CEO was one of the few executives who actually had a passion for music and had an ear for talent and kind of knew, somewhat how the streets were rolling and what people were looking for. So then once the internet kicked in, it became too much freedom to the point where attention became the ultimate drug. So it kind of pushed real artistry and people, really putting in that work on the back burner. And it kind of killed their value. But I never, ever stopped checking for Loud because they always had a complete roster with a wide range of styles and talent from all over. And then on a personal level, I had a connection to Loud because I'm brothers with the Liquid Crew, which would be the Alcoholics, and also with the Executioners. That's like family to me. So, I'm always like gonna feel something for Loud. But I really respect the fact that Rifkin brought in heavy hitters, and he didn't do stuff for show. He did stuff for integrity, and he was looking at everything from a timeless perspective. He was more about quality more than anything else.
Yeah.
Dope point. What's your favorite Loud release?
Actually, Into the 36.
All right.
I love the rawness, the ruggedness, and then the fact that they told you on the skit what they were gonna do, and they did it.
Right. Dope. Sling, what about you, good brother? With Loud?
With Loud, man, shoot. My connection to Loud would be with the UN, with Rock Marcy and
All right.
And Dice Raw and them. My favorite album with Loud would be The Infamous. With Prodigy and of course Havoc. As far as them as a label, I think it happened like with most labels, man. The internet just swallowed it all up.
Right.
And it ended up being more so like three, I guess, major labels. What is it? Universal at the time. What was another one? Maybe Interscope.
Sony still that? No, Sony was Universal.
Sony was Universal, and then Warner, and then some other big entity. And then 300 spurned out of Warner, and so on and so forth. Like, I remember coming up with the Def Jams when Survival of the Illest, with Cormega and My Son and them with, and a young DMX and them was on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come from that era, that stuff. So as with Loud, you never heard anything bad about Steve Rifkin. Even to this day, he's the same one who was representing, the recently passed DMX. So, I think with them, they just got swallowed up with the internet and, labels merging and them just being on the outs of things for real, because they weren't really the quote unquote pop
Major
label. You know what I'm saying? Major label.
Right.
You would consider them like, for real, like you could consider Loud like more so like a raucous for real. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were
it was
bigger
almost
than-
like an
they were-
indie. It was almost like a major label that was an indie label.
Yeah. You can definitely give them that vibe and feel because of the artists that they cater to. So
Right.
that's it for me with Loud, no doubt.
All right. What about you, Ralph?
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. I can't even think of when I stopped checking for him, because I mean, some of my favorite artists of all time was on that label. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even a time where I'm like, yo, I just stopped checking for him. I just think the label as a whole got swallowed up in the game. You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of was like, just like out of sight, out of mind. It was like subconscious. Like I didn't even. When you sent me the message and I saw Loud, I was like, damn, because Loud, you know what I'm saying, had a lot of my favorite groups, man. And I agree, it was kind of like a indie but a major, you know what I'm saying, based on they weren't scared to sign and promote certain artists that other labels probably wouldn't, put the time and the effort behind, you know what I'm saying, which is what I appreciated about Loud. So I just guess I think they just got swallowed up in the game, man. And my favorite Loud release is the infamous Mobb Deep. That album kind of changed my life a little bit.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't get mad with the infamous. Vern, what you got, good brother?
The beautiful thing about Loud record is it's obvious that they had a vision and they remained true to that vision from onset until now. They didn't try to be, all right, we're about to be Millennial Records. We're about to sign Ren and 10. They stayed true to what they want, their vision, and it's proved with the artists that they sign. And it's a label of integrity in the sense of artistic integrity to me, because you know what you're gonna get when you see Loud Records and who they sign. And for me, I got to go with 36 because that's the spark off for me.
Right, right. No doubt.
Yeah,
I
peace
agree
to
with
the guys though.
Yeah. And I agree with everything everybody said. It's just, once streaming happened, labels really didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? And they just kind of, fell apart. It's crazy, man. My favorite got to either be Ray Bill for Cuban or 21 and Over. The Alcoholics' first album is one of my favorite hip hop albums ever. You know what I mean? Like, I love that album. Taz, J. Rowe, E. Swift. Like, I just, we doing a Loud show next week to salute them. So I'll talk more about that. But I can talk about the licks all damn day. So, I think
I
that's
definitely
it.
want to be on that show.
Yeah, there you go, good brother. There you go. Next up, another controversial label, Death Row Records. You know what I mean? 1992, the first album that put out was called The Chronic. You know what I mean? Little album, maybe some of y'all heard of.
We might have heard of that, yeah.
Might have heard of it. And then the last one that they had that I could find online was 2005's Corrupt's album Against the Grain. Of course, we're talking about Dre, Snoop, Dogg Pound, Pop, Gridlock soundtrack, Gang Related soundtrack, Murder Was the Case soundtrack, Lady of Rage. Porsche, when did you stop checking for Death Row, and where do you think Suge? Because again, this is going to be another label head that we know, similar to Puff. Where do you think Suge went wrong, and when did you stop checking for Death Row?
Honestly, I stopped checking for Death Row. I mean, I love Corrupt. I still check for Corrupt's, like any releases that he has. I love Corrupt. But I stopped checking for Death Row really after everyone sort of split and left, and Dre walked away, and Pac had passed away, and everyone just, and I think the last album I actually bought and was profoundly disappointed with was The Dogfather. And I was just like, what the hell is going on over there? It was just such a steep decline from Doggy Style that and there was a lot of turmoil with the label and with Suge, so it was sort of reflective in the projects that were coming out. And I think personally, where Death Row went left was it all started and ended with Suge. He's 1000% to blame for that one, in my opinion, and the reason for that is because Suge, I think, if you know the backstory, bullied his artists, and I think he literally bullied his artists and literally wanted to own them, not their work, but them. And whatever they did, he had it so that he took a cut of everything. And that's what gets people frustrated, is when eventually you learn that you think you're profiting 10 million, you just found out because Suge pulled you in the office that you're in the whole 6. You know what I mean? And they're sort of like, what the hell is going on? And I think yes, there's a level of like, do your research, read the contracts, but I think Suge was a little bit more ridiculous than Puffy was, by like a hair, in that regard. So that's where I think they went wrong.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's a hair, because like I said on the book show, one of my favorite books is Have Gun Will Travel by Ron and Rowe, about life on Death Row Records.
Yeah.
Yo, Suge was not fucking around with people. It wasn't even bullying. That shit wasn't bullying. That shit was
extortion.
That wasn't even. Yeah, that was right. Big Reddit. That's hanging you off the balcony, like nigga, went on my business.
Yeah.
He definitely used like brute force to get what he wanted, and he literally I think it was just a very, very, very toxic business environment, if you could even call it that. I think it was. I don't know what was being run over there, but my favorite release off of that, I mean, take your pick, one of Pac's joints. Like, I would say it was either Doggy Style or Machiavelli.
All right, I was gonna be shocked. I thought Doggy Style would have.
Yeah, Doggy Style's right up there for sure,
okay.
right there.
What about you, Mix? When did you stop checking with Death Row, and where you think Suge went wrong?
I stopped checking also on the Dogfather, but this is a pretty tough subject for me because I did the Murder Was the Case premiere. And I remember a conversation that was had behind the scenes about, getting Tupac out, out of prison and what to do with him. So I felt like the true mistake that was made was letting Tupac skip the already existing roster of talented artists that he had, because it drew the timing off of the talent pool that he had to pick from. Because of that, Lady of Rage didn't come out on time, and some of the other artists, if they would have came out in the proper time, they would have got, top billing, like the mainstream big artists on the label. Because they were sitting on a gold mine of a production team. They had talent, out the wazoo, but they were a little too gangster for their own good, and it kind of cost them in the end. But that would be my thing.
Right. And what's your favorite Death Row release?
Definitely the Chronic, because of the Sonics. I mean, when you hear the Chronic, it's like you was in the studio, like just straight up. Like, only albums I could think that come close to that would be maybe like the Compton soundtrack, sound wise, and maybe Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation. But outside that, not too many albums just scream through your speakers like that.
And you know what blows my mind about the Chronic is that was already recorded, mixed and mastered before they even had a deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
crazy.
He went to Jimmy Iovine with the Chronic already done. Like, so that's just amazing. Salim, what about you, good brother, with Death Row?
All right, well, with Death Row, man, shout out to Harry O. He just got released. He home. As far as Death Row, man, I think where it went wrong was with Suge, got in the spotlight. Like Harry O said, if he was supposed to stay in the background and just handle the business and do what he's supposed to do, he don't, I guess he doesn't think that it would have gone, let's say, awry. The problem first arose when, when Suge got his first cover on The Source. That's when the problems literally started, so to speak. From what I understand, my favorite Death Row album, definitely Doggy Style, and also a little bit biased because I've been fortunate to work with Snoop 3 times. So yeah, definitely Doggy Style. Shout out to Snoop Dogg for real.
All right, no doubt. Rel, what about you?
like some other people, I got caught up in the East Coast, West Coast thing, so I stopped fucking with Death Row early. I mean, I can't. I mean, I gotta be truthful. I got caught up in it. I mean, I'm from Philly.
Shit, so did I. Shit.
Yeah. He was. They was dissing my favorite artist. I wasn't fucking with him, man. I was like, I'm saying, I actually doubled back later on and to liking some of the stuff from Death Row, but I stopped probably messing with them after Dre left. You know what I'm saying? And what went wrong for me is Suge, like that environment was just like it's not gonna survive like that. Like you beating people up in the studio, you jump Sam Snead because he didn't say Death Row on his song, and you bullying people and come kill. We from Philly, like bullies, they get that shit off for a while, but eventually somebody taking you out, dog.
Taking
like,
your head off.
Yeah, they taking you out, and you can't operate like that, man. And he had a gold mine. And he just like got too full of himself, and he thought he can like own people. You know what I'm saying? And you eventually that's gonna fall, man. And you could see it happening. You could see little things happening, and it just it should play a huge part in the downfall of that record label. You cannot operate a business like that for so long. You're gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the thing. My favorite was Doggy Style. And then once I doubled back, I really liked the Machiavelli album. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Pac album.
That makes my heart happy, Ralph. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Vern, what about you, bro?
Listening to everybody talk, I just get angry because, and I almost get emotional, man, because I knew what happened was gonna happen because I know niggas like Suge, man, and it ain't no good ending for it. And anybody that gets sucked into it, it ain't no good ending for them, man. So yeah, and it's crazy because the very thing that he accused us, Puffy of, all in your video, nigga, you wanted to be, you want to be talent. You are management, but nobody coming to see you, Otis. You know what I'm saying? and see. Not only did he destroy the label, man, he effed up hip hop.
Yeah.
I mean, that East Coast, I hated that era, man. On both sides, I'm a calm dude, and I done been around. I got friends doing 30 pieces, so I don't like them rah-rah instigator stuff, man, because again, it don't end good, man. So, Chronic for me, and I'm gonna stop because I'll get emotional thinking about that jump, man.
Right.
Yeah, I think one thing they didn't realize is how impressionable people were and youth were that got caught up into that stuff, man. Like people was like Big and them walking through the mall in Cali. It wasn't like rappers that was yelling at them and trying to get it. It was regular ass people. Like people got caught up in that. And I remember that cover, that XXL cover. East Coast versus West. That was a bad look.
Vibe.
I'm sorry, Vibe. You're right. That was a bad look, man. That was a bad look.
It killed too. My partner's Bread and Water, got platinum plaques with Pac. I had the opportunity to kick it with him a couple of times, and that Death Row Pac ain't Pac, man. And so again, I hated that era. So that's it, man.
Mix, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, when I did the Murder Was a Case premiere up in Orlando, Florida, I went to a pool party that was sponsored by Death Row and Bad Boy, and Suge and Diddy was actually chilling at the party.
Wow.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, they used to.
Why am I not surprised?
They used to be friends. They used to be friends until one of Suge's people. Yeah, in Atlanta, where it was actually Wolf that handled that.
Yeah.
And everybody know who Wolf Rest soul. But that's what really literally started it all back then. But not to be short or be abrupt, but Yo, Kill, I actually
I know
have to
you,
go
bro.
right now.
I
Yeah.
know. It's all good, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Just real quick, where can they get at you on IG and Twitter?
Oh man, IG, Twitter. I think a couple of us we follow each other. I'm Baba_LP_7. That's for Twitter and for IG. And the podcast is Chopping It Up with the Conduit. And my producer is the executive producer. Her name is Mika Sunga. She's the best. You know, my man Myron of Mad Urgency, he does my videos and all, you know, the visuals for our promo. Along with my man Mecha Godzilla, who, you know, does some other things behind the scenes for us. So we just trying to grow things organically out here, man, and carry on tradition and, you know, keep the culture in the right perspective, man. Just like you are with Apartment 5B, real talk.
No doubt, man. Yo,
And
you already know
Salim,
this.
Thank you so
already-
much. I realized halfway through that you are the reason why I got my my GRAP shirt.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
The Humble Monarchs shirt. So thank you so much. And I feel like you pulled GRAP out of a Twitter hiatus. So again, many thanks to you for that too. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
That's my brother, man. I love Rap, man.
Yeah.
And Kill, man, you just have a great community of heads out here, man, who you know, speak passionately about the culture of hip hop. And it's just great to see a circle of souls, man, just, you know, really build on things that need to be talked about, that people are scared to talk about. You feel what I'm saying? So
No doubt, bro.
I really love it that you know, providing this platform, and thank you so much for having me. And please, you know, anytime you need me, you already know what it is, bro.
Bro, you
got
said you
my
want the
man.
Loud Show next week, so I'll see you next week.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
yeah, see me next week, and trust me, y'all check me out next week. We got a double header banger coming for y'all, man, for Chopping It Up. Trust and believe, man.
Bet,
All right, good
bet.
brother. Yo,
All right,
I
bro.
always tell you, man, love you, bro.
Well, I love y'all,
Peace,
man.
Salim.
Y'all be easy, man. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
And with me with Death Row, same thing. Soon as Dre left, after the Doggy Style, I was done. Like, Dre, so much of hip hop in me is about people. So, like, you told me J. Rue stop messing with Premier, and I probably won't listen to that next J. Rue album. You know what I mean? So, once it was like, oh, Dre produced it, oh boy. Oh, I've never even heard of Doggy Style. Like, I mean, not Doggy Style, the Dogfather. I never even bothered to listen to it. I saw the cover, I was like, yeah, nah, I'm good on that.
Don't do it.
You ain't missed nothing.
Yeah, you're not
Literally,
missing
after
anything.
that,
Don't do it.
for me, the Chronic, same reason why Mick said, just the Chronic. I could remember being in college back in the day when, for young folk out there, we used to have disc changers where you could put 6 CDs in a disc change and it would just go around. And we were listening to something and it went off and then the Chronic came on and it just got loud. And people was like, yo, who turned the volume up, man? Turn that shit down. Like, niggas like, we ain't touched nothing. Like, that's just the way it's mixed and it just, it sounds bigger than the other CDs that was in the disc changer. So, and then the Chronic was just everything to me, man. I mean, I can remember in 92 being a freshman at Morgan. I don't know how many times we said that whole these nuts jokes. I mean, that was just like, you know, everything from the 20 sack pyramid. I mean, we love the interludes. We love, you know, Stranded on Death Row, like just a perfect hip hop album for me. And again, if people really want to dig into it, Have Gun Will Travel by Ron and Rowe, excellent book to read. I mean, you talk about Suge. I mean, we talking about people getting raped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Suge let Crips Bloods who just came home rape grown men. Like this ain't just bullying. This is just, you know, he brought the jail yard to the industry.
That's
you know what I mean? And like you said, bro, only so long something like that could survive, you know, and you know, it is what it is. Next label, Rockefeller Records, another label where the head of the label is an artist, but this is at least the artist that I can say deserves to be an artist. You know, it's not a Diddy, it's not a Suge. Like, we actually talking about somebody with talent. First album, 96, Reasonable Doubt. Last album on Rockefeller was 2013, Jay's Magna Carta. You know, we're talking about Jay, Christian, Memphis Bleak, Beans, Emil, State Prop, Cam, Diplomats, Kanye, Young Guns. Just a roster full of talent. Porsche, where do you think Rockefeller went wrong, and when did you stop checking for him?
Honestly, I don't think I stopped checking for Rockefeller because Jay. I never stopped as contrary to what people believe that I hate Jay, I actually love Jay. So any album that he was doing, involved with, collabing on, featured on, I, checked. So Rockefeller is one of those ones that I never really stopped checking for. And they have such a good top tier roster. Yeah. Like they just had a lot of really good, solid albums come out. I think where Rockefeller sort of, I don't even know if I would say went wrong. It's just, I feel like Jay got too big for music at one point, if that makes sense. Like he was just doing so many other things that I don't know, with some of the new people. Like I don't even know much about Rockefeller anymore. I don't really keep up with that because Jay has so many other things going on that the music isn't what I want to keep up with at this point, So that's just what it is with me. So Rockefeller is sort of like a loud situation with me. I think they just, that's just me personally though. I don't know about anybody else.
And what's your favorite album off Rock?
The Black Album.
Okay. All right. Good pick. Mix, what about you, good brother?
I never really was attached to Rockefeller to the point where I could say I stopped dealing with him. So I kind of pick and choose certain albums. Jay definitely was the main feast for me. And I really agree a little bit with Porsche. Like once Jay blew up, it was kind of hard to double up and do handle both duties. But for me, I was just jumping around Rockefeller. I wasn't in love with him, but I wasn't hating him either. And my favorite album was Christian. I thought Christian was ahead of the curve. They were almost like if Maxwell were a group.
Yeah,
right.
The funny
But
thing
yet
is
they had
that
like a street folk. They were like a street Maxwell.
Right.
And the thing is that that's a great pick. And to me, it goes back to just how much of the industry is about timing. You know what I mean? Because Christian was almost neo soul before neo soul was hot. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
I think that's the thing. Like you said, they were just ahead of their time, and like that's what happens. I'll never forget. Kane being in the Don't Curse video in the silk shirt, with champagne in his hand, and we like, yo, what's wrong with this nigga? But then you fast forward 5 years, and it's Jay-Z with a silk shirt and champagne in his hand, and it's the shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, I know Kane was like, motherfuckers, I did that, y'all killed me for it, and now y'all love this dude for it.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, y'all done traded in your jerseys for a button-up shirt. Like, you know what I mean? So, it's definitely a dope album that a lot of people don't even talk about. A lot of people haven't even heard. You'd be shocked at how many people haven't heard that album. Because I think they only had one video.
Ghetto Silver Note.
Yeah, they only had the Up and Smoke video, right? So that was the other part.
That was it.
That's the other thing with Rockefeller. They R&B because I fucked with Rel. Rel was dope to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they never really pushed that. So Rel, what about you?
I can't recall like not Rockefeller. Like it kind of just when the split happened and when they stopped making music, then that just what I'm saying, because if Jay got something that's coming out, I'm gonna check for it. You know what I'm saying? Even like Beans, like if he got something coming out, I'm gonna at least check for it. So I can't say I stopped checking for Rockefeller. What I think went wrong, it's kind of like Jay kind of like outgrew, and then the way Dame handled business, what he couldn't be able to do that anymore without Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he was necessary though. I kind of feel bad for him a little bit because he was going hard and he was like a little over the top, but it was necessary to get, to help get them certain places. And then next thing you know, when the split happened, ain't nobody dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Nope. You yelling at them, and they was like, we don't have to you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what happened with them. My favorite Johns was Reasonable Doubt, and a personal favorite was Philadelphia Freeway. That was my John right there.
No doubt. What about you, Garn?
Like P said, I mean, the caliber of artists that they have, I mean, you probably listen to them not because they're on Rockefeller, but because of the echelon of artists that they are. Where they went wrong, Dame, you ain't an artist, and like you said, Rel, Dame is the prime example in the mortgage industry. It's tough if you're an up and coming loan officer and your manager is a producing loan officer, because I got to hit my numbers. Oh, and I'll help you when I can. And that's kind of how Jay might have been. And I just, and Dame, like you say, when people didn't have to deal with Dame, it's like, bruh, you had one gear. If I just said this, I'm getting old. But to a guy whose only tool is a hammer, everything else is a nail. And that Dame just operated the same way. Yeah, when you was trying to come up, it was necessary to scream on everybody at other labels. But bruh, shift gears and do something different. And I don't think he ever learned that. And he still hadn't learned it to me. My favorite album off of Rockefeller is a tie between the Black Album and College Dropout. Because College Dropout, I was kind of out of for a minute. I'm married, in the church and stuff. And this dude that I was working with, he was like, man, I think you would like this album. He gave me that. I was like, yeah, took me back to that feeling of Tribe and that kind of thing. So that's why that one sticks close to me. And then that was a humble Kanye, so that's, and I just remember because I remember at Centennial Olympic Park, it was a free concert. It was Van Hunt, John Legend, and the whole crew was there. And Kanye and them did everything. And it's thousands of people, man. My daughter was like probably 5 on my shoulder. We doing Jesus Walk. It was a great time. That innocence time, of Kanye. But I digress.
Yeah.
Dope.
Same thing what everybody said. For me, I think it went wrong with just the breakup. One thing I read in maybe it was XXL, and Jay said there's only one presidential suite. You know what I mean? And me, Damon, and Biggs all can't be there. And I think it's why a lot of labels fell apart, whether you're talking about L.A. Reid and Babyface, whether you're talking about Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons. It's why you have a principal and a vice principal. It's why you have a president and a vice president. You don't have two principals. You don't have two presidents because so all three of y'all can't be the president. Like it don't work like that.
Yeah.
You know
a three-headed monster is a freak.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then two, it's like, it's funny. I wrote down when you said Dame was a little over the top. I'm like, Dame was a little bit more than over the top. Like that video and him screaming on the whole entire Def Jam room. Yeah. The problem with that is that those people are now executives, and they remember when you screamed on me.
Right, right.
No, I'm not fucking with you.
So now I don't have to fuck with you. I'm not
right. And I think that's the thing that and I think the story was that Lear came to Jay and was kind of just like, look, bro, like you can't get far with this dude, And here's the thing. If you've been in the streets enough, we all have a friend who you like, nigga, I can't take you nowhere. You want to fight everywhere. Nigga, we just at the mall and somebody just look at you like, nigga, like you said, bro, like, yo, you only got one level. Like, yo, oh, God, it was Saigon was telling this story about how he took one of his friends, Just Blaze's mom was having a birthday party. And Just was like, you could come. And he was like, can I bring one of my friends? And Just was like, nigga, like, don't bring no Brooklyn. And he said, yo, my man started a fight at Just Blaze's mom's birthday party. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't take niggas nowhere. And that's Dame. Dame is just, so that was that breakup had to happen because it was like, I'm sure you can't. Dame is the epitome of Puff on crack. If you think Puff wanted to be in the video, nigga, Jay would be in the video. Shirt off, hanging out, doing that nice dance, bottles in the, and that's Dame. Dame is one of those people you could be like, Dame, I'll give you $1 million, but I'll give you 10 million, but you got to disappear. No more media, no more videos, or I'll give you $1 million and you can still keep doing what you're doing. He take the $1 million and keep being in the limelight, because that's Dame. That's just Dame. He wants to be there. And the sad part is he's still an asshole to this day. And it's like, Dame, you have nothing. I see more stuff about Dame getting kicked out of penthouses and mortgage and but then you want to come on the Breakfast Club talking about y'all niggas is whack because y'all got jobs. You not your own boss. Like, dog, or like I was just watching Dame on Ochinos from State Properties thing, and he was saying something about Jay. He was like, yo, you know, I mean, I could do business with Jay if the price was right. And I'm like, nigga, Jay ain't even thinking about you. Jay has not thought about you in probably the past 15 years, my nigga. Jay, why would Jay do business with you, Dame? Like, Dame is and Vern, you may watch My Wife and Kids with Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
That episode with Cat Williams when he was like stuck in the keys. Like, Dame is still thinking, Dame still thinks it's 2001. and he killed his shit. It's like, Dame, nigga, it's 2021, bro. Like, it's over. And you would think there'd be a little humility there.
That's the problem. That's the problem. There's no humility.
There's no humility. There's no, he's still the same asshole Dame. He's still the same, you know, and to me, that's why you can portray like you got it going on. You could do all these things, but
we don't believe you. You need more people.
Yeah, you need more people, man. But here's the bad part. They actually were a good team because Dame was the talent finder. Like, you know, Dame was the one who signed Jay. Dame was the one who went out and found fake property in Kanye. So, you know, that's the thing that Dame had that eye. But then I think also when Cam was talking about it on Drink Champs, once Jay was on vacation and you know, he came back and it was like, yo, Cam's the president of Rockefeller. Like Cam said, that was it right there. Like, you know, that was the end. Like, how you gonna make somebody president of Rockefeller and you ain't even talk to Jay about it?
Yep.
So
Cam is that friend that all of us have. He'll help you fight anybody, but he'll have you fighting everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know. So to me, that's where it went wrong. You know, and like I think Portia, someone said that Jay just outgrew it. You know what I mean? At a certain point, it's like, yo, that was cool back when we was trying to, like you said, trying to get a deal and we doing Dead Presidents and, you know, In My Lifetime remix. But bro, like, yo, we millionaires now. Like we own clothing labels, we own vodkas, we own labels, and you still acting like this. And it's like, at a certain point, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, dog, you're embarrassing me out here, man. I'm up here trying to do trying to do $1 billion deal over here, and you coming in here drunk, yelling. I just hear you yelling before we even, and I already know it's you. So, so I definitely think that was the downfall. And truth be told, I don't know if Jay ever really wanted to be a label head. You know what I mean? Jay made Rockefeller just out of bare necessity. Nobody wanted to sign him, so it was like, fuck it, let's do it ourselves. But I don't think that's where Jay wanted to stay. You know what I mean? So that's Rockefeller. Next up, we got Rawkus Records. You know what I mean? One of the dopest, another one of those dope indie record labels. 1997 Company Flows album was their first joint. The last thing they put out was in 2007, Hezekiah's Predict the Riot. Porsche, when did you stop checking for Rawkus, and do you think they went wrong or what happened?
Honestly, Rawkus was never on my radar. I don't like that as a label anyways. Yeah, I mean, and I don't think that they did anything wrong. They're, again, like allowed for me. I think they just sort of fell off just from whatever. I'm not entirely familiar with Rawkus, with the label itself and all of that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be able to speak on if there was anything. I definitely never caught wind of it. So that's just for where I was and all that kind of stuff. So
what's your favorite Rawkus album, or do you have one?
I don't even think I have one.
Okay, well, I'm gonna send you some because you should, because there's a lot of great music on Rawkus.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna definitely get you something.
Okay, sounds good.
Point's like, yeah, whatever, nigga. All right. Whatever you say, kid. Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. But again, Rawkus was really not on my radar like that, as a label anyways. So there may be some point.
But you've heard Black Star's album, right?
Yeah, Black Star I would have never kind of paired with Rawkus.
Yeah, like Black Star is on Rawkus, Moses' debut is on Rawkus.
Yeah.
To Live, Reflection Eternal is on Rawkus.
More so than Black Star's even. I would say Mos Def's debut would be my favorite, if I have to say that. But again,
Pharaoh was on Rawkus.
Sorry?
Internal Affairs, Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Pharaoh, I mean, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. But again, with that whole issue with the with the thing. It just never. I mean, with the
The Godzilla sample.
Godzilla sample, yeah.
Okay.
That whole thing just kind of, again, Raucous would have never been on my radar as a label, but I do know that they're stacked when it comes to good albums. So yes, some of my favorite albums are off of Raucous, but not. I
Right,
wouldn't be
just
able-
at the time you didn't put the two together.
Yeah, I just would never be able to speak on it as a label.
Right. Mix, what about you, good brother?
All right, for me, the cutoff was The Beautiful Struggle by Talib Kweli.
Yep.
But I always did check for Ruckus because I consider myself a b-boy and a true underground head from day one till the day I'm gone. And I felt like they were too underground, if there's such a thing. And I don't think, they walked the fine line between mainstream and underground, but they still sided more with underground. I don't think they understood how to do the mainstream thing, but yet still keep the integrity and keep the ear to the Walkman. I really believe like if they had maybe somebody that had been from both worlds, they would probably still exist and still make a great deal of damage. But they definitely had a great complete roster with a lot of wide range of talent and just real edgy stuff, real experimental stuff. They dared to be different and they were different.
Right.
And my favorite album was by the Bum Rush Brothers, aka the world famous Beat Junkies, DJ Babu and DJ J-Rock, Sound Bombing 2. Because they gave shine to like
That was
Eminem,
fire.
Diamond D,
That was fire.
and a whole bunch of other people.
Yo, that was
amazing.
That's one of the few
mixtape.
Eminem songs that I love. That Any Man off
Me
of
too.
Sound Bombing 2, produced
too.
by the Beat Miners.
And that was a real mixtape with real mixing, real cutting, scratching, real techniques in it. It wasn't.
I forgot
what people call
199
today a
was on
mixtape.
that. That's where 199
It was.
Calm.
It was.
Yeah, Sound Bombing 2. Yeah, the whole series was crazy, but 2 was my favorite. Rel, what about you?
Yo, so when Ruckus was out, I was that was one of the labels. I was really proud that they were, out and getting love because of the type of artist that was on the label. You know what I'm saying? It was rare for me. It kind of reminded me of Loud a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like their roster was like of the essence to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I really appreciated them. So I don't recall a time where I just stopped checking for them. What I think happened with and then I will tell you what I heard. What I think is just the times, just kind of like the times and the type of music just kind of changed, and I don't think they changed or signed the artist to change with it. But then I saw an interview with Evil D, and he was saying that the reason why he feels like the fall of Raucous was he was saying they were actually trying to be too commercial, like that, like the heads were like. He said they tried to give him this big Raucous chain with all this ice on it, kind of like Rockefeller. He said they were kind of getting caught up and losing their identity. You know what I'm saying? And he said that's one of the reasons he felt like it fell off. So I don't know. That was coming from him. From me, I just think the times, and they kind of just got swept up. And then, a lot of the main artists kind of just ventured off into other things, you know what I'm saying? And their own situations and stuff like that. Favorite album, there's so many, like the Black Star album, High Technology, I like that John. Reflection Eternal, I like that John. Like that Sound Bombing 1 and 2, I like both of it. It was so many Black on Both Sides. It was so many draws on the Big L album I actually like, and that was on Big Picture was on Raucous, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Raucous has some Johns. Like it's I can name probably like 7 that I can't pick one over the other, to be honest. That's it.
Now, Vern, what about you?
Yeah, Raucous is similar to Loud in the sense of the type of MC that they sign is quality. It wasn't necessarily most real commercially successful, but can't say that I was again checking for the label per se, but just some of the artists, and I would pick the Mohsen Talib album as my favorite off the label.
Right. Yeah, Raucous to me, like same thing everybody said, similar to Loud. And it's funny, Rel, because when Jake was on a couple of weeks ago, he was saying he did an interview with Last Emperor, who was on Raucous, and he was saying how the label was trying to get him a personal trainer so he could get bigger, so he could be like a sex symbol, like LL. So it ties into what you were saying about like what Evil was saying about, you know, the two label heads, that they wanted the label to be bigger. You know what I mean? Because there's a difference between Loud and Raucous. Is Loud wasn't an indie. You know what I mean? So Raucous is an indie trying to get Raucous type money, where I mean getting Loud type money, where Loud was already getting that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I could see that being a path that they're trying to go, because again, this is cool. And again, I get it now that I'm 47. At 21, it's just, just make good hip hop. Is it boom bap? Is it this? Is it that? At 47, it's like, dog, if we in the record business, like, you don't want to, I don't know too many people who want to stay where they're at right now. You want to continue to grow. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, like we're in a townhouse. I would like to get a single family house one day. You know what I mean? So, you know, we're selling records and the streets love us, but we need to make more money so I can buy a bigger house, so I can get a nicer car, I can buy more things, I can go on better vacations. So again, when you think about it, it's like, you know, because we love hip hop so much, and because it's a culture, because you seldomly hear people have discussions like this about R&B, where we're getting mad at L.A. Reid for something he did to Pebbles. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's because with hip hop, we love these people. We, you know, bro, you and me have said it. We was like, fuck them niggas. You fucking with Big? Nah, nigga. You know what I mean? That ain't never happened in R&B. If SWV don't like TLC, I'm like, oh, fuck TLC, I ain't listening. No, you don't do that with R&B. You know what I mean? So for hip hop, we love these people, but we kind of also forget that it's a business, you know, and that these people want to get a bigger office. I'm tired of running this record label out of this 2-bedroom apartment. I want to get an office. So we got to do some things that are going to, you know, push some things. But I mean, the roster was just, you know, crazy with Raucous. So I just think at the end of the day, it's a twist of, you know, what you were saying, Rel, with the label heads wanted to be bigger. And then again, all these labels just disintegrated once streaming came, and well, really before streaming, once Napster came, and once people could start downloading music without having to pay for it, labels just was like dying left and right. You know what I mean? So many just, you know, didn't know how to kind of operate anymore. That's why we're only down to like 3 really big, huge labels anymore. And again, I think Raucous went to that. If I had to pick a favorite album, it's probably Black Star. But God damn it, if this ain't a hot second, the Reflection Eternal joint, oh God, I mean, Hot Tech. This is an album that is, to me, is a perfectly produced album that nobody talks about. And if you want a slept on album, Brace for Impact, the Beat Miners album. This is their Pete Rock Soul Survivor type album here. And this, oh my God, they got a joint on here called Take That with Flip Mode. Good God, man. Great. So that's that. 2 more labels real quick and we out of here. Let's look at Duck Down real quick. Duck Down is 96. First album that they put out, Helter Skelter's Nocturnal. A lot of people think it's Smith & Wesson and Black Moon, but they're not. That was when they were on Nervous. So the first on Duck Down was Helter Skelter's Nocturnal. The last one was Stag Selector's Lucky 7 in 2015. Helter Skelter, OGC, Skyzoo, Torre, Foul March, Stag Selector, Sean Price, Boot Camp Click, Black Rob, Cocoa Brothers, the joint that they did with Pete Rock.
This is a stacked label. This is a stacked
on
label.
There. So Porsche, Duck Down. What do you think?
Again, Duck Down is similar to Raucous. I never really checked for them as a label, but that label put out some very, very heavy hitting albums. For sure. So I don't think that I would have ever stopped checking for them. But again, it wouldn't have been associated by the label. It wasn't like, oh, Duck Down's putting out this, or this person's off of Duck Down, like Duck Down's dope. It wasn't like that. It was just looking back and being like, oh, all of these albums were off of Duck Down. That kind of makes me think like, holy smokes, like that was a very, very heavy and solid label for sure.
Okay. All right, no doubt. What about you, Mix?
Duck Down was always in a constant flow with me. I never, thought of A Day Without Duck Down. You know, it was just steady with me with them. No album, no artist in particular. I like the majority of them. Rest in peace, Sean Price. I thought, you know, he was different and dope, and he finally broke away, you know, to the solo thing with a lot of success. And probably my favorite album would be the Marco Polo Port Authority, because I thought he showcased, you know, a wide range of people and showed that, you know, a person could come from Toronto to Brooklyn and still make it happen and don't get lost in the sauce, so to speak. I really like that one a lot.
That's dope. That's dope. Rel, what about you with Duck Down?
I never stopped checking for them. Like those artists you name, like if some of them like they came out with something now, I'm checking for it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really think I ever stopped checking for the artist. I think I didn't really think about the label that much. I kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't really explain it. I loved all the artists, but the label, it wasn't like, oh, this is a Duck Down product. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't register like that for me. So I can't really say I ever stopped checking for them. Cause I never stopped checking for some of those artists.
Right.
And so I think that's what it was. That's what it was with that. I can't really say where they went wrong. Like, I don't know. I can't really answer where they went wrong. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know like that. Like, I don't really can't say something that they actually did wrong. It just was one of those labels, man. And my favorite is The Storm, OGC. I love that album, man. I love OGC. So I think that was like a personal favorite of mine. So.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Bar?
So I'm looking over the discography now, and I forgot. First, I was like, I didn't know De La Soul had an album on with them. But I remember this album. It was like a concept album that they were like a group, and they were fighting amongst each other, and one got the big head and all that kind of stuff. It's called First Serve. This is another one of those stacked, keep it real, you know, true MC labels that didn't never stop not checking for them. And I'm actually about to do a deep dive on this label for the next week or so, because there's a bunch of stuff on here that I haven't heard, but I know the quality of artists, so I need to educate myself on it. I guess I'm gonna go with Pharaoh's War as my favorite. Just one of them, just picking it, you know.
My favorite joint off of that was Helter Skelter's Nocturnal album, by the way.
Yeah.
Dope. And it's funny for me, I'm the exact opposite of all of y'all. Like, yeah, like I agree. It was a stacked artist, but I didn't like most of these albums that came out.
What?
When it came to them. Yeah, like for me, I think they went wrong. To me, it's like when Dre left Death Row. Like, to me, the boot camp, and maybe it's because, maybe I'll say this, maybe I'm mixing the two together. So when I think of Duck Down, I think of boot camp. Okay. So when I think of boot camp, I think of the Beat Miners. To me, once that Beat Miner split happened, it was all the magic. It was like when the Funk Brothers left Motown. When Motown moved to LA and left Detroit, that was the end of Motown. You know, so to me, when the Beat Miners left, because the beat, you can see it. Black Moon produced the whole album. Smith & Wesson produced the whole album. Nocturnal, which is my favorite off of Duck Down, they only produced maybe 5 or 6. On OGC joint, I think they only produced 2 or 3.
But you didn't like Sean Price's albums?
Oh no, I did. Okay. But when we're just talking about, it's a stacked label, Helter Skelter, OGC. Y'all know I've never been a big fan of Skyzoo's beats. So Sky doesn't really do it for me. Torre doesn't really do it for me. Pharoah was on there for one album, which is dope. Yeah. Never was a big fan of the Stack Selector albums. I never liked any of the Boot Camp Click albums. Like that was like the album that I always was waiting for. And then they put out that whack joint For the People, like back in '97, and the beats was whack. Didn't even want to check the Black Rob joint. So it looked, for me, they're like the team that you see at the beginning of the year and they look good on paper, and then they lose in the first round of the playoffs. Because I can't really tell you, outside of Helter Skelter, OGC, in this War album, anything that I really check for. Like, great example, when people's like, yo, Ninth is Buckshot, because then you was like a little rumor like, yo, Ninth is the new member of Boot Camp, or he the new member of Black Moon. He gonna be producing for them. They had something called the Check the Chemistry or some shit. I heard that shit was whack to me. Then the Cocoa Brothers, produced by Pete Rock. To me, it just didn't gel. Like, Pete is great. Y'all know I love Pete, but there's a certain sound that go with the Cocoa Brothers or with Smith and Wesson. And I've even heard people say, yo, when they switched their name, something changed. When they went from Smith and Wesson to Cocoa Brothers, they wasn't the same no more. You know what I mean? Like, because that second Cocoa Brother album wasn't good, you know? No. And again, the Beatminerz was only on 2 joints on that, with Spanish Harlem, with Tony Touch and Hurricane G, and maybe another joint. So, and then when Cocoa Brothers came with their last album, produced by Ninth's crew, again, not that those beats weren't, but it just don't gel. Like, and again, like for Motown, the Funk Brothers, that was the backbone of that label. And when they left, I just felt like the label just, it didn't do what it did before. Not saying there weren't good songs on these albums, but I just look at it like, yo, it's a stacked roster. That they were the LA Clippers of last year. LA Clippers were supposed to win the chip. They lost in the first round. And to me, that's what that roster looks like. It looks great on paper, but for me, at least, for me, and I know people who swear by Skyzoo's out. So again, I don't mind being the odd man out. But for me, for all this talent, they should have like when I put this up against Raucous or I put this up against Loud, this discography don't even come close, and it should. That's the problem. It should come close, and it doesn't for me. What were you gonna say, Ralph?
Oh, I was saying the Clippers lost the second round. My bad.
Oh, second round. Thank you for that. But they were supposed to win the chip. That's the moral to the story. They were supposed to win the chip.
They blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah,
3-1 lead.
Yeah, and blew a 3-1 lead. So when I look at this lineup and I look at Raucous and I look at Loud, I feel like I should the same way. I mean, Rel, you just named like 6 albums that was your favorite off of Raucous.
Yeah,
I should be able to do the same with Duck Down. I should be able to be like, yo, the first Helter Skelter, the second Helter Skelter, the first OGC, the second OGC, the 5 Skyzoo, and I can't, you know. So
and that's why it wasn't connected for me, the label and the artist, because I like all of the artists, but I wasn't getting the label, like, you know what I'm saying, like, because like with Raucous, I was just like naming them, you know what I'm saying?
Again, for me, Duck Down equated Boot Camp. So there was a while I didn't realize Skyzoo was on Duck Down. There was a while I didn't realize Foul March was on Duck Down. I didn't realize Static Selector was on Duck Down.
They didn't really promote it like that.
Yeah, you know, and then truth be told, really, and then where I think they're done is just once Sean P died. You know what I mean? Because Buckle, everybody would tell you, like, he saved that label. You know, Drew will tell you, Buck will tell you, ask anybody on Duck Down. They'll tell you Sean Price saved that label. You know what I mean? So Sean P dying, he was probably one of the few last rappers from the 90s who I still got excited for. If you tell me Sean P about to drop, my nigga, I'm up at midnight, headphones on, waiting. You know, so I think once P died, it's kind of like, I really don't want to hear Cocoa Brother album no more. I don't want to hear OGC. You know, truth be told, Rock actually had a dope solo album out a couple years ago. It was a lot of people didn't hear it, but it was a solid joint. Porsche, I know you got to go in like 10 minutes. Real quick, let's see if we could jump in with Cold Chillin'. Started with MC Shan in 1987. Last one was G-Raps 4, 5, 6 in 97. Kane, Shantae, the whole Juice Crew, Marley, In Control, Volume 1. Where do y'all think, I mean, Porsche, we read the book. Where did Cold Chillin' go wrong?
Oh, man. You know what? I don't know that as a label they went wrong. I think just artists sort of did things differently. I mean, MC Shan, just everything with KRS and that whole crew just sort of hit them hard, I think. And again, I don't think that it's as a label issue. I think it was more just the artists themselves. And again, Cold Chillin' is one of those ones where, yes, they had everything for a long time. Stacked artists, stacked roster as well. And again, my favorite joint off of that would be G-Rap.
Which one? Road to the Riches, Wanted Dead or Alive, Live and Let Live?
I would say Any one of them, actually.
Okay.
It's rap. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
My bad. It's live and let die. I said live and let live. I'm getting
Live and
old.
let die, yes.
Live and let die.
Yes, live and let
Live and
die.
let live. Mix, what about you, brother?
For me, Cold Chillin' always, had the stacked artists and the pioneering MCs, and of course the pioneering producer Marley. But it seemed like they ran out of gas when the times changed. It seemed like the times outgrew them, and they couldn't keep up with it. But they always, will go down as like the MC, the superior MCs, label. I would say the labels. I mean the MC's favorite label. And then probably my favorite album, it's a tough one, but I gotta go with Long Live the Kane, because he was doing stuff that no one was doing and knocking down doors and just pioneering the game and taking it up a notch and still keeping, even to this day, showmanship as an MC, not just being a studio rhymer, not just being somebody that could freestyle, but somebody that was sort of like, an amoeba or like a chameleon. They could just pretty much jump into any form, any shape. Still can dance. Still got the ladies.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest MC nobody want to admit. Maybe not just the best rhyming MC or the best rapper or the best writer, but the most well-rounded MC. From start to finish.
Bro, about 10 years ago, I saw Kane burn down the stage. It was Kane, Light, and a bunch of those. Kane doing all the James Brown, everything. He still got it, bro.
Yeah.
Still.
I feel like no one talks about G-Rap. I don't know why. I feel like nobody talks about G-Rap, and he's so influential.
I'm about to.
Thank you, Rel. Please go ahead, Rel. I'm all ears.
Rel's about to. But
Yeah.
Porsche, I know you got to dip. We got, you got to give them everything. Where can they get at you? What you like, what you don't like. You know what I mean?
I don't want to
Cheesecake.
hear about Big's below the waist situations, guys. Come on. Like, I'm done with it. I'm done with hearing about
Please
about Big's
explain
ass.
what you're talking about, because I don't want you thinking about you heard that shit here on Apartment 5B.
No, I didn't. I saw it on
Okay.
the TL. It was a screenshot conversation between DJ Premier and Rivera, and it was just
Disgusting.
poor DJ Premier. He's talking about like music, and he's talking about Big rhyming, and then here comes talking about Big doesn't have any underwear on, and he lets his junk out, and this is what his ass looks like in descriptive detail. And I'm like, why are grown men?
What part of hip hop is that?
Right?
The weirdo part.
Grown men talking about this, and I had to send the screenshot to Kill and Vern, because I was like, you guys, like, what is happening? So please, you guys, it was first Faith eats Big's ass, and we were talking about that for like a week. I don't know why. And now it's about Big's genitals and his ass again, and like
Sitting butt naked, eating fried chicken, and niggas in the room with him.
And here's the wild thing. I gotta explain. The greatness of Big was that when he died, so many careers died with him. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Charlie Baltimore died, Junior Mafia died, undied. You know what I mean? So the only time I see Lil C's is talking about Big.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So and Big been going since '97. So I guess is running out of shit to talk about. So he's like, oh, let me tell you about this time I saw Big's ass crack. And it's like, nah, bro, don't tell us about the time you saw Big ass
You might want to keep that to yourself.
Yeah, but again, what else? Yo, if truth be told, if you interview on Lil C's, what you gonna ask him about? Big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you interview Charlie Baltimore, what you gonna ask him about?
Listen, as a female who loves Big, I have never in my entire life thought about Big naked. I've never thought about Big in that way. I've never thought about Big in his bedroom with the women that he's been with. I skipped past that interlude on Ready to Die. I don't even want to hear it. Like, I don't know why grown men are talking about this, and it's a conversation on the TL. So you guys, let's just do better.
That's gonna be the next story that come out. But
yeah, men don't talk about those things.
No, they don't.
Porsche, tell them where they can get at you.
At Cherchez Porsche on Twitter, and that's pretty much where you can find me.
All right, sis. Appreciate you. Know you got to dip out. So.
Oh my, this was a great episode. Love talking about the labels. Thank you guys. So good to see all
Thank you
of
for the
you.
topic.
All right.
Big
All right,
thank you
pause.
for joining. Vern, Rel, Kill, thank you guys so much. Take care. See you next
All
week.
right.
All right. Let's see.
All right. Rel, what's up with G-Rap?
Oh, no. So Cold Chillin',
Yeah.
I think what happened with them is the artists. So you gotta look at when they started, and the progression of the game and the artists. And I feel like it was kind of natural.
Mhm.
And not many artists have LL longevity. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of the artists ran their course, not to be disrespectful to legends, but you know what I mean. They kind of ran their course, and I think that's what happened with Cold Chillin'. My favorite is G-Rap's "Live and Let Die." Ill Street Blues, On the Run. I mean, and I agree with Porsche, one of the most influential MCs. I mean, the dude had a list, man, and he was killing it. And my favorite rapper is Nas, and I see the influence in Nas. I see the influence in a lot of artists, man. And one thing is so crazy. That first album had no and you wouldn't even think of that with the type of music, you know what I'm saying, with G-Rap. That was a really crazy fact that I didn't even really pay attention to. So I wanted to give him his flowers. He was one of the greatest, and he kind of sometimes get overlooked, but not by us though. I think we all give him his.
Yeah, we
his
shouted him out several times on shows.
Yeah.
What's up, Nix?
I just wanted to add on something. Sorry about this, Vern. I just wanted to add on something quick to what Rel said about Live and Let Die, the album. When I went to recording school in Orlando, Florida, Full Sail, the engineer from the album, Jaylene, played for the class, the original version of Live and Let Die, the album, with the samples that didn't clear.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a big difference. It's a huge difference. As great as that album was, it was a huge difference. And I heard rumors and rumblings that they might eventually put it out, but it seemed like it just went away. And I'm cool with Sir Jinx, and I don't even know if he knows if it's going to be re-released or not. But I just wanted to say
crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I tell you, between sampling clearance and albums getting shown, there's so much great hip hop we didn't get a chance to experience. Just about that sampling being cleared. Vern, what about you with Cold Chillin'?
So, what happened to them? As Nix, you said it exactly perfectly. Pioneering label. So, a pioneer, when you hear the word pioneer, you ain't gonna still be, hanging on from 86, 87 to 94, 95. The shift in hip hop just was a natural progression, and they didn't flip with it. They didn't get no new blood in there, to take it to the next level. And I'm battling. I think my favorite is "Taste of Chocolate" by Big Daddy Kane.
You joking? Whatever. Ain't nobody listening to you. Bro.
No.
Take that somewhere else. Bro. I already know you playing.
Long live the Kane. Long live the Kane. Yeah. That was my favorite.
No doubt. One of the dopest books I've ever read. Going Off, the story of Cold Chillin' Records and the Juice Crew. Trust me, dope book, very informative book. What everybody always said, the times change, and they tried to change. Here's the problem. I always say this: pre and post Straight Outta Compton. Pre Straight Outta Compton, labels didn't know what to do. They just said, go in the studio and do what you do, which is why we got what I call my golden era of hip hop is mid to late 80s. You know what I mean? Because they just went in the studio and they recorded. Post Straight Outta Compton, now record labels are saying, oh shit, like, yo, these cats could really sell a rack of records. So which to me, Rel, what you said, G-Rap's first album, no curses. G-Rap's second album, 834 curses. You don't go from being Bill Cosby to Eddie Murphy overnight. You know what I mean? So either that's G-Rap always wanted to curse, and the label was like, nah, don't do that. We ain't trying to get no parental advisor sticker. And then they saw what a parental advice sticker did for Straight Outta Compton. They was like, okay, you know what? Curse all you want. Or G-Rap didn't want to curse, and the label was like, no, nigga, you need to curse so you can sell some of these records like Straight Outta Compton. So by the time you're in the 90s, now labels are seeing things. So, and it explains this in the book of how Kane was leaving the label. So when they brought in Genius, they wanted Genius to replace Big Daddy Kane. They wanted him to be the new dark-skinned sex symbol, which is why you had that song from the Genius, the Come Do Me song. You know what I mean? So this is where the label's going wrong, because instead of bringing in the Genius to be the Genius, you're bringing in the Genius trying to replace Big Daddy Kane. Same thing with
Granddaddy IU, you told me
same thing.
I'm sitting here like, man, I heard this on a podcast. What podcast? It was Kill.
But in this Granddaddy IU, because they were like, yo, we needed Big Daddy Kane, Granddaddy IU. So they instead of signing Granddaddy IU and just letting him do him, it's like, okay, we gonna sign you to replace this person in Genius. We gonna sign you to replace that person, and that's where they went wrong, because now you're trying to do a Puff. Now you're trying to sign Shine because he sound like Big, you know. And years ago, right when Nicki Minaj was like at her height, Puff was trying to sign Rick Ross and her, and was gonna market them as the new Biggie and Lil' Kim. See, so instead of trying to go out here, that was one of his themes. Wow. So again, instead of trying to go out and find new talent, this dude is still trying. I tried with Shine to replace Big, that ain't work. Okay, Rick Ross, big dark skinned fat nigga. Oh, we could do this. Oh, cute little Cardi B. I mean, I done named everybody. Like Nicki Minaj. We can make her new Lil' Kim. Boom. Now we got Biggie and Lil' Kim. Now I can do that. So again, that's where these labels go wrong, because instead of signing talent to just what Loud did. Instead of just signing the Alcoholics and saying be the Alcoholics, and signing Mobb Deep and saying be Mobb Deep, these labels are now trying to sound Mobb Deep, talking about, all right, can y'all sound like Smith & Wesson? Or can y'all sound like this? And to me, that's where Cold Chillin' went wrong. Because, I mean, imagine if they signed the Genius and allow RZA to do RZA shit for him. You know what I mean? Maybe Cold Chillin' keeps going. You know, maybe Granddaddy IU, you sign Granddaddy IU to just do what he does great. Maybe that keeps the label going. But you sign two great MCs and you're trying to make a carbon copy of what already went by. So to me, that's where the label went by. For me, it's a Big Daddy thing, man. Just personal reasons, man. I was 15. I'm riding around in stolen cars, learning how to drive to this album. So it's just great memories. And to me, it was a great example of how, even though Marley left, this still was an incredible produced album.
Super crossover album too.
Yeah, because I mean, I wasn't even mad at the I Get the Job Done by Teddy Riley. You know what I mean? I wasn't even mad at that.
One of my senior theme songs,
So love this joint too. Y'all got another 10 minutes to rock? We good?
Yeah.
All right, let's go for the last one. I got Tommy Boy up here. Ooh. You know, we got De La Soul, Latifah, Stetsasonic, Naughty by Nature, House of Pain, Digital Underground, Mix. Where did Tommy Boy go wrong, man? When you stopped checking for him?
Tommy Boy went wrong when he came to my city and had lunch with me and an unnamed A&R from Elektra Records, and try to put New Orleans in a box that we weren't on a hip hop level. He told me that De La Soul wasn't on the radio in New Orleans because we didn't understand what they were saying. So then I asked him, I said, can I ask you one question? I said, do you know who DJ Rock Raider is? He said, I'm not familiar with him. I said, how you not familiar with him when he DJs for some of your artists when they go on tour? So obviously you must not be up on game either. So I'm gonna say that's when they lost it with me, because it let me know that Tommy was really about money and wasn't about, you know, integrity, artistry, and taking people, you know, up a notch and putting, you know, the proper music in where it should be. I just didn't think he had, you know, the backing, you know, that he should have had toward us.
Right. Good point. Favorite album?
Probably De La Soul Is Dead. I think it was super underrated. I mean, just the way it was sampled, the way it was put together, you know, all the abstract stuff, and just, it's like a big puzzle. But once you figure the puzzle out, you realize how great it was.
Yeah, no doubt. Bro, what you got?
As far as like checking for him, I started to like hear like stuff about Tommy Boy that they just getting dissed so much. I was like, yo, something going on over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know for sure, but I just kept hearing. I would hear different artists say stuff and about stuff that was going on over there. So I can't really say where they went wrong, but apparently they weren't in it like Mixed Messiah said they were in it for the wrong reasons, apparently, because it comes out now. You know, I've heard several artists say I hated being on Tommy Boy. So apparently they were doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Yo, favorite album, man. I'll probably say De La is Dead, but I was Stakes Is High on Tommy Boy?
I think so.
I think, but I'm not 100. I think that was a great album.
It need to be, because that's what I got as mine.
Yeah, I love that album.
Oh yeah,
I love that. Yo,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Stakes Is High was on Tommy Boy.
He really loved it.
I think I froze. There I go. I'm back.
Yeah.
I really love that album, and I like that when that album came out, that really wasn't the wave, that sound, but they stuck to their guns, and that's a really good album, man. And I think Tommy Boy album is Stakes Is High.
Right.
And I got a question when we done too, but go ahead.
All right, Bert, what about you with Tommy Boy?
Like everybody said, as we loved them when we were unaware of the shadiness, you know, from 3 Feet High and Wrath of My Madness and Naughty and stuff. But as we got older and we hear Tommy Ain't My MFing Boy, you know, and stuff like that, and then this De La stuff. I mean, they on doggone Teen Titans Go,
Trying to get yo, when you a rap artist and you get on a cartoon, still trying to get you that.
You know what's up.
Yeah. Favorite albums? It's a battle royale between Stakes and Grind Date. Those two albums are masterpieces to me. You know, and they fly under the radar when people talk about great albums. But yeah, those two, and a dark horse is Latifah's Wrath of My Madness. That album is super too. Yeah.
Tommy Boy, same. What you gonna say?
Is it what? That was All Hail the Queen. What's the name of that album?
The first album is Queen Latifah.
It might be Wrath. I just don't remember.
Yeah, it's All Hail the Queen.
All Hail the Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, 45 King.
Mark the 45. Same thing everybody else said. I mean, I probably stopped checking for them. Like when I mean checking for the label, like I'm always gonna check for De La, you know. But as far as the whole label piece, I think probably after the second Naughty album, because you know for a while like Naughty, you know, and Latifah were kind of like, and De La were the cornerstones for Tommy.
Yep.
You know, so after that second Naughty album, you know, I wasn't checking for the label anymore. You know, it's kind of like just when De La dropped, you know, kind of how Porsche was saying, like at a certain point, I didn't even associate De La with Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
You know, so
just
always checking for De La. And then of course, to this day, I really still haven't done the knowledge on what is the problem. Like, is it that Tommy Boy won't give De La royalties?
Here's what it is. Tommy and I'm not siding with him at all. But if he opens up this Pandora box, it's so much sampling crap that they could still come back and get sued on, that he don't want to give up the money that De La's owed, because if he does and they get sued, he gonna have to come out of his bag. But that don't make it right. He need to give them guys they credit and their you know what they do.
But is it money, or is it just about I don't want to put this on streaming services because then the samples will come out? Like, does Tommy Boy owe De La money?
I wouldn't say that he owes them money, but if he puts it out on streaming, then he gonna get sued for all the samples that are on there. And so
I'm just wondering but wouldn't that be for anybody? Like, everybody during that time was doing maybe not a million samples, but I mean, Public Enemy right behind you. Nation. I mean, the Bomb Squad was infamous for using 10 samples for one song, and so I'm just wondering. Like, I just gotta do knowledge because I just never knew what it was. I just knew like Tommy Boy is somehow playing De La, and I just
we were
never
blessed to hear all that sampling during that time.
Yeah. And Tommy Ain't My Motherfucking Boy just stuck in my head for some reason. Like, whenever I hear Tommy, I just think of that line.
And my personal experience really make me think of that line.
Right. It just kind of resonate with me. So
favorite album, De La Soul is Dead. Another thing, just timepiece material. I call myself Running Away From Home during the summer of '89, and this is all I listened to that whole summer. And then for Slept On one, Stetson Sonic's debut album, On Fire.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
Stetson one.
Prince Paul.
Yeah.
Slept on group. Period.
Some people say the Roots before the Roots.
And that's truthfully, they was the original hip hop band, man. You know what I mean? And everything like that. All right, Dope Show Vern. The closer, let them know if you're in Atlanta, if you're at a Hawks game, if you're at what's y'all women's team?
Atlanta Dream, you'll see me.
Atlanta Dream, you're going to see Vern. You're going to see Vern there. Yep. So if you need a crib, get at him. Where can they get at you, good brother?
At V The Lone Clothes on Instagram, V Chandler 10 on Twitter.
All right, Rel, give him everything, good brother.
Yeah, Uptown J Ben on Instagram, JBen215 on Twitter. Man, again, I'm always learning. Man, for real.
You broke up for a second. What'd you say?
JBen215 on Twitter, and every time I come on here, I'm learning something from y'all. So I just appreciate it, man, for real.
Same here.
Same.
If there was a tagline for this show, it would be hashtag Iron Sharpens Iron. That would be the hashtag of the show. So, Mix, what about you? Where can they get at you, good brother?
All right, on Instagram, it's Mix Mess, Mix with 2 X's. On Twitter, it's Messiah Mix with 2 X's again on the mix. And on Facebook, it's Michael G. Dunn, like Warwick Dunn, with the T'Challa profile picture.
All right. You already know what it is with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG, willmakebeatsfood.com. If you haven't had a chance, please go, whether YouTube, wherever you at, go back, listen to the New Orleans episode where Mix, Neltron, and Yitz was on there. Learn so much. Thank you for reminding me, Vern. Y'all know I suck with this. What happens when you get new stuff.
I gotta get that game.
Go check that show because it was an amazing show. Learned so much about New Orleans hip hop. And what I love about it is it wasn't surface New Orleans hip hop. This is digging in the crates, people who you've never heard of before, digging New Orleans hip hop. So I think it's one of our best shows that we've had. So please check that out. Thanks to good brother Vern. Apartment 5B is sponsored by So What's the Scenario Game. Portia's game is being held up in Toronto by Drake for all that shit she talked about. So who knows? Finally get it. It literally is held up in Toronto. I sent it like a month ago and it's stuck in Toronto. Go figure. But it's a great game. Like I said, we played this before. Gonna get once Porsche gets the game, we're gonna get another round going because there's no way JR, the R&B guru, he left with the chip, and I feel some kind of way.
So what you saying?
Exactly, like bro, it was about to be like spades up in here until we go until 4 a.m. until I win, but.
It was getting intense, man.
Yeah, I know folks had to go to work, but we gonna pull this out. So again, grab this game, very dope game. Use the promo code Apartment5B, APT5B. You'll get free shipping. Appreciate the hell out of y'all, man. I'll check y'all next week, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.